Zoom zoom.
So I did the other rear wing, let me just show you. Not so great. I used the paint on primer that I had bought. So I started off with brush marks from the primer, which I couldn't quite escape. So I ended up with brush marks on that wing. So, but now you can see the entire rear half of the car is painted the same black, right? A couple of goofy handprints on there where I went on the soft paint. But now I've gone opposite corner, opposite side from the paint. It takes, I don't know, 3 days to dry. It's crazy how long it takes to dry. And I've just put 320 grit on this because it looks to me as if the doors are in better shape than the rest of the car. So let's test that hypothesis. Okay, another little sander needed. Oh yeah, you'll notice I'm on a tarpaulin now. I made a big mess of the asphalt last night, so when I was doing that rear wing, so I thought better don't make a big mess and try and clean up after yourself. There's some nooks and crannies you just can't get into, right? So the question is what to do about this. Fill it up again, I guess. Fill it cracked off. See, the door is not in such bad shape, huh? I think I'll use some of the bluish filler here. It's thicker. The stuff that I just found the red catalyst for is a lot thinner and runnier. So let's just put some filler in there. Back to that later. I think I need to use the heavy 60 grit on there and get the plastic dip off. Meanwhile, let's mix up some filler and have a go at that. About this, slowly down about this filler. I used the tiniest little snot of the catalyst because it was going off too quick. So, lesson learned. I'll get the rest of the sander. Any big holes in here I should fill? Yeah. Might as well use it up. Get you over a bit.
as well, fill in the big divots here. Seems we have some filler left anyway. Use it up, baby. The more you put on, the more you need to sand back off again, so worth bearing that in mind. Okay, that's enough. Just clean the stuff off if you can.
I'll leave that for a wee while to dry.
Here's a handy little rasper that I picked up at a grass sale. There all day. Must be getting a bit blunt. Gloves. Better than it was.
I'll put the finer grit on.
The finer grit. Let's just give that a wee rinse down. A rub down maybe with a cloth, wet cloth. I don't want to get everything soaked for a change. Just going to give it a wipe down with a wet cloth instead of usual hose brush thing. Huge mess that I need to dry off then. I've no choice, I'm never going to get it clean enough.
You guys out the way the overspray as well.
Cheapers. A mess.
The next challenge is to find out if you can, put a tack cloth in the laundry and clean it, because mine's is getting filthy. I did read somewhere that you're supposed to keep your tack cloth in a plastic bag, so I have been doing that. That's a couple of years I've had this tack cloth. We'll give it a try. Rightly or wrongly, I left the brushes out last night so they didn't stink up the garage. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but some bits and pieces got into this primer that was left over.
leave that, like I said. We need to let that paint dry up in there and rescue the brushes somehow. Okay, that was a bit of a dog's dinner, but we'll try and resuscitate it. We'll rub it down with the fine before we put black on it. If you look at this, it's a dog's dinner. It's dry, but the paintbrush marks are incredibly apparent. I've got some fine wet dry sandpaper here. I'm going to have a go. Oh, maybe the 320 would be. I don't want to take it all off again, you know what I mean? We'll try to the wet and dry first. 2000 grit left over from when I was working on MGB, so we'll give it a go. This might be too fine, you know what I mean? I'll give it there. Wet and dry right here. This is not really hard enough to do anything with. It feels dry to the touch, but it's not hard. It's not drying like that. Just take some of the paint off, but it feels soft. That is soft. It was only half an hour, so it's flashed, that's not hard. So I can't rub it in. No point in ruining the stuff that I've already What's the point of that? But I can't put black on this. I cannot. So we'll just need to, we'll go and do our chores and then I'll come back to this. About another couple of hours or so maybe. Might be hard enough to rub down. Certainly not hard enough to rub down right now. That was only half an hour that I gave it. It's not enough. I still spilled some white paint on the ground. Jeez. Boredom more than anything else. I'm going to try something slightly different here. I saw someone talk about, oh Jesus, it's raining. Yep, it's raining. I've got to move the car quickly. Move you guys even quicker. there's no rain forecast for today. There you go. Trust the forecast. Okay, we're going to continue on. Might only be a little blow through. Right. Off of this because it's too awkward to just use the whole thing. Good enough. Right, to get back to where I was thinking before, is a little roller to put it on, and then we'll just lay it off with the brush. Inside, tack cloth. We're going to try putting it on with a roller this time, and then lay it off with the brush. Then we'll just put it on the roller and see what it looks like without laying it off. Don't know. Let's try it and see what it looks like. It wasn't good painting out this can last night either. I didn't put it in a container because I'm running out of containers, but that's not an issue. So back to pouring it in the container and trying it from there. So here goes nothing, trying a roller. Right. inside the door. Do the rest of the hinge up there as well. That's the original pin. Just to do the hinge at the same time. And just over there. That leading edge there, my t-shirt. The leading edge of the door is now the leading edge on my t-shirt. That'll do. Bad one. Right, it's fun, man. I mean, by definition there's no brush marks because I didn't use a brush. Whether that dries in smooth or not remains to be seen, but it's an interesting experiment, right? We'll try and wash these brushes now, maybe leave them outside. The rain may have stopped already. Not stopped. Right, let's call that done for the first coat just now.